trying to get better about saying when stream is actually starting between the two of us, so that it's like less of a...
No, everyone on YouTube just gets to hear our stream of consciousness before
Basically,
this.
yeah.
That's fine.
That's the whole point of the exercise. Wonderful. Okay. My phone now says
Absolutely.
that we are alive, which means I trust it. Hooray. Oh, I forgot
He's
to
like,
turn
oh,
down
people
the
can
volume.
hear us now?
What was that saying?
I think I said, oh, he can hear us now, meaning the
Oh.
stream.
Yes. Their ears are
So
unblocked.
for whatever reason, Tinder thinks it's automatically a little guy.
Little guy is just a fun thing to say in defense of like the very language itself.
It absolutely is. I mean, I also like to say that my gender is just a little guy. Like, my gender is boy in the same way that a frog is just a little guy.
Yeah.
Same way a mushroom is just a little guy.
He's good. Good gender.
Let's see if I know how to read today.
We are reading part 3 of The Great Empire of HIC, a one-shot quotation that Unda wrote. We'll be taking a 45-minute break in the middle.
You mean a 15-minute break?
Oh my gosh, a 15-minute break, yes.
We're taking a lunch break.
We're going to cook and eat a meal for several people.
Yep. We're taking a 15-minute break, 45 minutes in.
Yes. Parts that I'll be reading throughout the whole of this session. You'll see the whole session and then the part 3.0 in a moment here. I'll be reading for Karkat, Nepeta, and a miscellaneous pirate.
And I will be reading for Celix and Equius.
Yee. I have signs from the stream of life, but not that the words are actually present on the screen yet. So I'm trying to get caught up to see if maybe it's just that I'm slow on the thing. It doesn't look like the words are displaying, which is no good. Although, admittedly, when I do DBDC, I don't have any words displayed. So really, this is just a return to form if you think about it. But I got the stream layout to work. It's not right now.
Yeah, for DDBC, it's like you don't get to know what we're reading.
Right.
Imagine it.
Go to the actual AO3 and picture it in your mind's eye.
Picture it in your head.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't catch something? Good. You don't get to know what's happening.
This is very odd, because this is the same layout that's worked for our previous 2 streams, so I don't know why it's not behaving.
I could not tell you.
Yeah. I want to go into settings real quick and just see if there's a way that I can fix this.
No,
there we go. Goodness.
Oh, I didn't actually want to turn it on. I was trying to see if like the stream had the words, and it's like, oh, you want to watch it right now?
Ready to start some shit? Okay. Wonderful. Okay, we're present.
It's working.
It's working now.
We're present? I thought we were past.
I was over here trying to make the future work, but I guess we can meet in the middle somewhere.
Okay. Shall I start then?
That would be wonderful.
Yay, let's see if I know how to read.
Always the case.
I'm just thinking of like, shoot, what's the dude's name? Like, hi, my name's
Jason, I'm 19 and I never learned how to fucking read.
Me. No, you can personalize text. Okay, go away. I am going to eat you. Okay. Yeah. Your holiday was supposed to be 10 days long. No contact or communication with the outside universe. Restful, even. Your crew finds you on day 10. The center of the planet that's most built up is mostly on fire now. Your army of small aliens has proven adept at overthrowing the system, and Nyx has a real aptitude for weapons that you wouldn't have predicted.
What happened?
Nebula gasps in horror as you spark two wires together behind the barricade of an overturned margarita stand. Finally, the current in your improvised explosive device goes through the doors to the owner's mansion. Oh my god.
Oh, that entrance
Finally,
is
the
weird.
current in your improvised explosive device goes through, and the doors to the owner's mansion blow clean off.
We need to storm the mansion, force the owners to surrender, and negotiate with the native species. I think they're going by us now instead of them, but that's new. Come on.
You say in a rush and scramble to your feet, snatching your weapons up and running. You were supposed to be on vacation!
Solid.
Sulik shouts after you as he sprints to keep up.
They enslaved the local population. What was I supposed to do?
You demand and keep running.
What happened to your face?
Nepeta shouts and decks a passing troll who tries to stop you going through the gates.
The US had just elected their leader a few days ago, and the assholes running this place tried to have them killed. I managed to stop it, but the grenade had shrapnel. It got near the eye, so I bandaged it.
You shout back. You try to disinfect it, but you didn't have a lot of supplies, and you had a mission here. It takes 2 days after that to capture and force surrender out of the trolls who took over this innocent planet, as well as negotiating a settlement with them that you call Terezi to oversee via video to ensure it is legally binding and as a private business agreement will be enforceable to the full extent of the law. The US makes sure to tell you that you can come back anytime, that they are friends of the rebellion and will aid you in any way they can. You're just pleased that they're free.
I need a vacation from my vacation.
You mumble to yourself as you head back to your block on your ship. A hand wraps around your arm and you look up to see Sullix. You need that look that, he tells you, pointing to your face with your makeshift bandage over it.
I'd rather sleep.
You tell him. Cool, I wasn't asking, Sullix says, and pulls you off towards the medical state section. Despite your considerable combat prowess, you just can't fight magical mind powers. So even when you wrench your arm from his hand, you still end up floating down the hall in a sulk. Remind me what happened again, Sulik says as he drops you on a stretcher and shuts the door.
Are you even qualified for this? I'm leaving.
You say. No, you're not. Red and blue light are holding your good leg down, and unless you're going to chew it off to leave, you can't go. I helped Equieth out when he needed extra hands. Plus, it was interesting. I'm qualified enough to take a look at least, Celix tells you and snaps a pair of gloves on.
There was a grenade, shrapnel, etc. It was a shit vacation.
You sigh. Celix leans in close to you and starts to untie the makeshift bandage around your face. It was a shirt. Not yours, but someone else's. It has little palm trees on it. More Molotov cocktail than the kind with little umbrellas, huh? He says and unwinds it.
I didn't even see any tiny umbrellas.
You agree out of sheer habit. Not any recent habit, mind you. This is more the sweeps that you had with him as his friend, where you talk about anything without hardly thinking, always bouncing off one another. Sullix has this amused little tilt to the corner of his mouth, but when your makeshift bandage comes off, the smile falls off of his face.
Ugh, that feels gross.
You grimace. It looks really bad. I thought you said you looked after this before you bandaged it, Sullix says seriously.
I did, sort of. Look, my eye was fine. It was just the face that got really messed up. I sterilized it as best I could, and there were kids there who were really hurt. They needed the real supplies.
You mumble guiltily. So what did you do? He demands.
Pulled the shrapnel out, poured half a bottle of vodka on my face, swore a lot, used half a shirt to bandage my face, and the other half to put in the rest of the vodka to throw at some asshole after I set it on fire.
You mumble. It sounds dumb even to you. Okay, I need to clean you up, and then you need to open your eye so I can see it. Sullix hisses and goes off to get supplies. A certain amount of stinging saline and gentle cleaning fixes things enough that you can open your eye just fine. Regrettably, however, the amount that you can see out of that eye is not at all. Sullix shoves some medication at you, tosses you in your room, and about faces your ship to speed to Equius's home, and none of your mutinous crew listen to you over Sullix when you insist that you're probably fine. It'll probably fix itself, right? Do you mind swapping over to read out the things?
Absolutely.
Mean to lisp on things. This is fine. It's not going to fix itself, Carcat. What kind of foolish idea was that?
Equius says disapprovingly as Solix immediately rats you out the moment he gets you in the room. But I could see. My eye was fine, you insist.
I have nerves that transmit information to the think sponge you supposedly have. Getting fuck knows what thought into them and then not getting medical treatment is, I believe the medical community says, really fucking stupid. Equius?
Solix says, looking at Equius for confirmation.
Language, Sullix. But yes, he is right. You'll need a new eye.
Equius nods. A new one? You shriek. You don't want a new eye. You want this one to work again. You want to go out. You want to go out of this life with the full set of body parts that you're supposed to have.
It is fine, Carcat. I do a lot of eyes. They're my specialty. Friska has no complaints. You will also be asleep for this procedure, so it's very easy.
Equius says casually. No, you whine.
I also want to see how you've been looking after your leg.
Equius adds. No. You groan and lay down on the stretcher in protest. It's not much of a protest. Equius at least has the mercy to shoo Solix out of the room to check you up thoroughly, and then kicks you out, saying that he has to construct your eye with its
unusual color.
You grumpily hobble upstairs and stow yourself away in the block that you were in before. At least this time there's internet. You have a good 10 minutes of sulking before you spot Solix walking up and leaning against the doorframe. What? Yusa asks suspiciously, looking at him.
X said you managed to not be terrible at looking after your leg.
Solix says. I'm trying to get it so it works right again, and Equius doesn't try to remove more of me. Bad enough he's getting my eye. You grumble and try to read your husk top instead of paying attention to Solix. Naturally, this is impossible. All of your attention is on Solix. You're just not looking right at him.
I was still mad at you, you know.
He tells you, and you wince. I'm sorry. You apologize.
I thought you weren't sorry for refusing to tell me about you not being able to do quadrants.
Solix says, and walks a little closer. Ah, that. You sink a little lower in your seat, only to have your husk top float off. Hey! You protest, but Solix doesn't care and just makes your tech get out of the way with an idle gesture of his hand.
It's okay. Besides, I worked something out.
Solix says calmly and sits on the arm of the chair you're sat in. What? You ask him suspiciously, still weirded out by having so much of your vision gone when there's nothing in the way of your eye.
I spent a long time hating you for what you did, but you've made it pretty hard to forget why I liked and pitied you in the first place.
Solix says softly as he looks down at you. What? You repeat, your voice tighter. What's he talking about?
Most people, if they'd gone on your vacation, would have just had a nice time. Or if the whole situation had bothered them, then they'd have left. Or stayed but left a bad review or said something on Chitter. But Carcat Vantis, pirate leader, star of the rebellion, he can't do that. He's got he's got to open his big mouth and stick his foot in that entire mouth. He's got to lead everyone to victory. Can't look after himself. No. He's got to make everyone else happy first.
Solix says, his voice quiet and almost secret as he talks. He leans in a little as he talks, looking at you carefully, and you're not sure you want him examining you that close. It feels like he can see right through you, and you don't like what's inside you. You certainly don't want him seeing it more than he already has.
I guess I forgot that the kind of guy who does that is also the kind of guy who pretends that he's indifferent because he thinks people won't like the truth, huh?
Solix adds quietly. You cringe under his gaze, but he's got you cornered. Cautiously you move, just to see if he'll let you, but he swings the leg furthest away from you up, so his foot rests on the other arm of the chair, blocking your path out. In my defense, when I did tell you, you start.
I know. I was shit about it. I did say I was sorry about that.
Solix admits. Well, it's not like you tried to kill me, or told all our friends about me, or told me that you were disgusted with me, said that I'm broken or repulsive, or...
Stop that.
Solix interrupts you sharply. You shut your mouth, but you don't look at him.
I don't think any of that, and none of our friends would either. They might not get it entirely. I don't get it entirely. I don't think, but...
Solix sighs and runs his hand through his hair. It's starting to get a little long and wild. You know he prefers it shorter so he can control it, but you always kinda liked him like this.
I wish you told me before.
Solix finally says. I didn't want to tell anyone, ever. I just messed that up, you mutter. Solix turns a little so he's facing you head on, which is actually better for your vision right now. What's less great is the way it presses the leg that's not caging you in against yours. It's not your bad leg or anything. It doesn't hurt. It just makes you think things you shouldn't.
Was your plan just really to never say anything and never make any kind of move? So we both spend the rest of our lives drowning in feelings for each other without doing anything? Really?
Solix asks you skeptically. Well, no, I wouldn't have to. Eventually, you'd find some other normal troll who you felt red for, and you'd be with them, and I'd... You pause as your chest contracts in a bitter ache at the thought of Solix happily flush with someone else. It hurts more than the half a bottle of vodka to the face did. Then you'd be happy, and that'd be better, you say thickly.
You're a moron.
Solix groans. He moves so his other leg is on the chair with you, so he's not quite in your lap, but holding himself above it. You guess he doesn't want to hurt your leg. Instead, it means he's got his hands on the back of the chair on either side of your head, and you have this feeling that he intends to kiss you, not that you know why he'd want to do that. What are you doing? You ask quickly, putting your hands on his chest.
Well, I wanted to kiss you because I always want that. And you're a moron, and it seemed like it'd stop you saying dumb shit, at least for a little bit.
Solix says, his voice low and in a way that makes you get butterflies in your digestion sac. But I can't pity you like you used to pity me, you tell him.
I know.
Solix nods. I explained it. There was a diagram and everything, you say in a voice that's almost a squeak. He makes a noise that sounds like he's listening, but he still leans in a little closer. But, you try.
If you don't want me to kiss you, then say so. I don't want to do anything you don't want me to do.
Solix says and leans back a little to look at you carefully. You don't know what to say to that. What you want has always been a problem. Who knows what expression is on your face? Probably something embarrassing and awful that shows off all of the things you so desperately want and can't have.
Do you want me to kiss you?
He asks you, slow and clear. Only all of the time, tumbles from your mouth without you meaning to. Wait, shit, I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry, You scramble for an excuse that won't make him hate you, but Solix grins like he's won. You don't get much chance to argue then, to argue when he kisses you, and honestly, you truly don't want to. No matter how much you know you're going to revile yourself later, you kiss him back, because you were telling the truth. You want him all the time, in every possible way. His tongue slides against yours, the little fork in it so completely him, and you almost don't remember how to breathe. When he finally stops and rests his forehead against yours, you're breathless.
I think we should probably not just keep doing that. Maybe we could be smarter the third time around?
Solix suggests. I'm sorry, you say quickly.
Don't be. How about we start here?
Solix says, breathing a little shaky himself. Start where? You ask, and he leans back so you can see him better. His cheeks are flushed dark, and the way he's looking at you makes you weak.
Would you like me to be the narrator for a bit?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to ask earlier, but I kept forgetting to.
You're good. I can go for a decent chunk. I was just thinking to myself that we should probably switch soon, but not knowing where.
Got it. We could be friends for a start, Selix suggests.
You said we weren't friends anymore.
You point out. And I'm changing my mind, and you don't get to tell me I shouldn't want to be friends with you anymore, he says, preempting you correctly. It leaves you with nothing to say. Do you want to still be friends? Selix asks you.
I still have feelings for you. Awful, wrong, and romantic feelings for you.
You tell him up front. No shit. The way you kissed me back told me that. And I don't think it's awful for what it's worth, Selix says, rolling his eyes. I'm still red as hell for you two, if that needed pointing out. So now we're both clear. I'm red for you, I admire you, and I want to be your friend. Your whatever you call your thing for me. Do you want to be friends? Selix asks. What was it Friska said about you? That when it comes to Selix, you're like one of those stupid adverts where the guy constantly screws the whole thing up at every turn into such a huge mess that it's almost comedic. Maybe you could just unfuck your past mistakes a little. Besides, when you were kids, isn't this how you became friends? By just asking? He wants to be your friend. Do you want to be his? Check yes or no here. He knows about you. He knows about your feelings for him. He knows that you still have them, and he still wants to be friends.
Yes,
You say. Selix grins and hops off of the chair. Good. I had better help Equius to make your new eye perfect. I already unlocked the network for you. There's Lots of stuff for you to watch. Don't worry about poking around and breaking things. I already car-cat proofed it, he says brightly.
Hey!
You protest, but he's already left. It takes 2 days for your eye to be ready and Equius to get prepared for replacing it. Apparently, Celix is a perfectionist about things sometimes. You already knew that, but all the same, you'd rather not have to go around half blind for longer than you need to. The whole while your mind is doing this little loop. It goes like this.
Carcat Mantis is a disgusting mutant with awful feelings that everyone should be disgusted and repulsed by if they knew about them. Point 2. Solix Captor knows about the disgusting parts of Carcat Mantis. Point 3. Solix Captor wants to be friends again and also kissed Carcat Mantis, defective think sponge owner. Point 4. Wait, no, that can't be right. See point 1.
And so on in a loop. Yet, despite all of your solid reasoning, Celix is acting like your friend again, or near enough. There's still a certain nervousness between the two of you, a trepidation coming from both sides, but it is something approaching how things were. You can't understand it, but it's happening, so you just live with it in quiet bewilderment. It's like you've won some lottery, but it's definitely a mistake, and you're waiting for someone to come snatch every scrap of good feeling out of you and take it back. Equius replaces your eye, and Celix shows you that you can change its color, useful if you're ever going undercover and don't want to be noticed. You can see great, better than before even. Equius comes with you to the ship this time. He says he doesn't trust you to look after the parts he's put in you until he sees proof. Needless to say, Nepeta is delighted to have him back. Things with Celix are different. There's a while, a good few months, where you're both going around wary of each other. He may be forcing normal and being overfamiliar. You partly suspect that this is to fuck with you, and given that you're talking about Celix, who is a shitlord, you may not be wrong. The point is that no matter how much he's acting like he's the one getting you to ease back into this, you still notice that in moments where either of you is more real or open than you have been for a while, he's tense too. Just like you, he's working out how to be friends again. In your guiltiest and most private moments, you relive that kiss in Equius's hive. In your guiltier still moments, you relive that night in the hotel. You remember his body against yours and how amazing it felt that he wanted you back. You always feel shitty about it right after, and though the red on your hand doesn't stain, you always worry that somehow Celix will know when he sees you. He doesn't, or if he does, he doesn't say anything. You figure the kiss was a mistake. Well, not a mistake as such. It was needed for him to properly convey how he felt, and for you to do the same. It was an act of honesty. That doesn't mean that it's going to happen again. It won't happen again. You ignore how that hurts. Hello, Captain, Celix says, walking into the gym where you happen to be working out. It bothers you because he's not greeting you befitting of your station. He says, hello, Captain, like it's the start of some themed porno. Oh, well, hello, Captain. Fancy seeing you here when it's just us on this ship. I have contracted a terrible pirate virus, and the only cure is your body. That's how he says it. The thing is that you're not alone. You have 2 crewmen who were sparring and are now loudly talking about how, actually, that's probably a good enough workout for now. Okay, bye. You wish you knew if Celix was just fucking with them or with you. Knowing him, probably both.
What do you want first, mate?
You ask with a grunt. He hates being called the first mate. He much prefers being the second in command, for obvious reasons. Celix huffs indignantly and walks around to the other side of the pull-up bar from you so he can glare at you. I was coming to tell you that we've docked with the station. I've spoken to Kanaya's ship. She's not due to get there until this evening, Celix says.
Right. On schedule, then?
you say between repetitions. Look, you've never claimed to be ripped, but in your line of work, no, in your life, it pays to be able to do what you have to do. No one wants to flunk out of scaling a cliff when your life is on the line. You don't want to lose in a fight to some high blood because they're naturally stronger than low bloods are. Besides, you sublimated a lot of your young feelings into combat training and physical workouts because at least that you can improve on with dedication, not like your emotional problems. Hmm? Sulik says, sounding distracted. He's just looking at you.
Want to
You
switch
roll your
things?
eyes and walk off. Oh, yeah, we can switch. Gives me a chance to beverage.
Beverage good. You roll your eyes and walk off, grabbing a sword from the rack. It's not your primary specimen, but being a pirate, it's good to be handy with as many forms of combat as you can, and plenty of people use blade kind, which means lots of them are around for you to steal and use in a pinch. You nudge one of Equius's bots into life and begin sparring with it. You can beat them on every difficulty that he installed, but it's worth keeping you on your toes, especially with your modified leg and eye. New muscles and body parts need muscle memory too.
So, I had a question.
Solix says, standing with his hands held behind his back as he watches you fight. Yeah. You ask, whirling out of the way of the bot's blade and kicking it away so it has to come at you again.
How does your not quadrant thing work?
He asks. You falter and only just deflect the bot's sword, but as it passes by you, scraping on your own blade, you see a shimmer of red-blue on it with your artificial eye. You wouldn't have got stabbed if you'd failed to block it.
Do you need me to switch back in?
I'm feeling okay. Am I missing words?
Yeah, I said, how does your not quadrant thing work? And you never said anything.
But there's no dialogue there. It's just a thing into narration.
Yeah, I thought you were still doing the narrator, or did I switch in? I don't remember.
I was saying narrator words. Did that whole little paragraph not make it to you?
I didn't hear it. No.
Oh my gosh.
I just heard silence.
Oh
Did
no.
they die?
No, I'm still alive. Discord's fighting us. I'll say it again in case I didn't make it to the stream either. That's concerning though. Oh man.
Yeah, I literally heard nothing. Like I said
Wild.
my thing and then just a long stream of quiet.
Oh my gosh. I was talking, I was trying. My mic's on.
Oh no.
Oh no. You falter and only just deflect the bot's sword as it passes by you, scraping on your own blade. You see a shimmer of red-blue on it with your artificial eye. You wouldn't have got stabbed if you'd failed to block it. Off, you snap at the bot. What the hell? You demand.
It was just a question.
Solix says, innocent in a way that he absolutely isn't. He wanders casually over to the frozen bot and takes its sword. My ass, it's just a question, you say sharply.
Well, what do you think it is if it's not a question? Is it a pineapple, KK? Please tell me.
Solix snarks at you, and you start to grind your teeth and twist the point of your sword into the floor. Solix twirls the sword around in his hand casually. Don't flail that thing around when you don't know how to use it, you warn him. It's all fun and games until someone loses an eye, and you're already one down, so you'll pass on that, thanks.
It's not exactly hard. You put the pointy end in the other guy. Your sickles, I'll agree, are hard to use, but a sword is just a long, sharp... Hey!
Solix doesn't seem pleased that you've just disarmed him. So easy, you snort.
I wasn't ready. You couldn't have done that if I was ready.
Solix insists. You shake your head and walk off, but you turn when you hear the sword move. Solix stands there with it in his hand.
You didn't answer my question.
Solix says. The question about how your romantic feelings work? Yeah, gee, why might that be? Why do you even want to know? You ask him in turn, pointing your blade at him. Solix looks at your blade and then back at you.
Luther answers the winner's question.
He suggests. No, he asks. He asks in that challenging, beguiling way that makes you hate him a little more. Excuse you, I've been training for sweeps, you say.
I know. It's not fair, but what else can I do? Blindfold myself?
Solix grins. Oh, that's it. All right, I'll kick your ass, you growl, and Solix beams like he's won already. A younger, dumber Karkat might have lunged for him, but that's the dumb shit the level 1 bots pull on people. No, you pace carefully, closing the distance with your blade raised and your arm loose and relaxed. Solix backs up a touch, his eyes skittering over you. Realizing what you just got yourself into? You ask lightly.
Realizing that it's not fair us doing this when you're not wearing a shirt?
Solix says in reply, and you know just what he's implying. He swings for you, but you bat the blade away harmlessly and go to jab at him. The cheat zips back out of the way by flying. You roll your sword around in your hand, and he starts to stalk closer again.
You never asked me,
he says, lifting the blade defensively, but the angle is wrong and sloppy. Asked what? You say, and then you wait for him to start talking before you attack. Solix psionically shoves you backwards and then tries to attack in return, but he telegraphs everything so clearly that it's easy to just keep defending. You repeat with a grin. Normally you wouldn't sass someone while fighting. It looks cool, but that's how you get stabbed. The number of highbloods you've taken down in a fight because they're trying to get off a witty one-liner that sounded sharp instead of worrying about the sharp weapon in your hand is frankly embarrassing to your species. But the gap in skill between you and Solix is so wide here that you're fine. Solix brings his blade down against yours, trying to brute force it out of your hand by leveraging his size, but basically everyone is taller than you, so you're used to this, and it won't work.
You told me that you can't do quadrants, but you didn't ask me what I thought about it.
Solix says through gritted teeth and shoves you away, unable to break your strength. Didn't need to. You said we were friends, you point out, and then slash at him again. He psionically stops your blade. Cheat, you accuse.
I didn't say I wouldn't use my psionics. I'm not an idiot.
Solix scoffs and lets go of his blade. It floats up in the air. That's definitely cheating, you say. Solix's sword swipes and jabs and slashes for you in strange ways because it's not being held by a hand and you're not working with someone else's grip. Now you actually have to focus to defend yourself. Suddenly, your leg can't move. It's not your augmented leg freezing up, but rather Solix's psionics freezing you in place. You curse and desperately defend yourself, but one attack too many forces you to fall backwards on your ass. The sword tumbles harmlessly to the floor off to the side.
I want to know how it works,
Solix says, kneeling down and leaning over you to look at you, upside down. You cheated, you accuse him. He shrugs like it's no big deal.
Feeling pretty pissed right now, maybe?
Solix guesses, and ice fills your veins. Was he baiting you into that? Trying to see just how much you'd react in that quadrant? You jerk upright with your back to him and wrap your arms around your legs.
KK, I can't understand this if you don't talk to me about it.
Solix tells you, and you hate how gentle he sounds. It stings like an open wound. Why do you want to know? You ask. You can hear how thick your voice sounds, but you won't look at him. You can't.
I don't know, Carcat. Maybe it's a jerk thing to do to someone to say that you're interested in someone if you can't do quadrants like they do.
Solix says through gritted teeth. I'm sorry, you wail. You cover your face with your hands, but it won't hide your shame about your past. But Solix keeps talking, ignoring you.
And maybe I want to know more about how you work so I know what I'm dealing with here, so I don't do the same thing to you that you did to me by agreeing to something I can't do.
He says loudly. He. What? You turn around warily, but Solix is just watching you. What? You say in a small voice.
You never asked me if I wanted you still after you told me that you don't work the same way as me. Even after we kissed again, you didn't, and that was fine. We were being friends again, but you're kind of a dumbass, Carcat. So instead of trying to work it out myself, I'm just going to ask you to tell me how it works, because I still want you, but I don't want to.
He seems to search for the word. To make my mistake, you ask, and he nods, although you don't think that he wanted to put it that way. Was the sword fighting a test? Did you bait me into that for some experiment? You ask him.
Nah, you're still just really easy to piss off, and it's as fun as it's always been to do. But I was thinking about it then, having picked feelings for you, I mean.
Solix says thoughtfully, tilting his head to the side a little to look at you with a small smile that you can only classify as devious. You're playing at it. It's not the same. You tell him and get up.
That's unfair. Besides, when we were kids, my crush for you waxed pitched sometimes. It's not unthinkable. You are deeply frustrating and annoying, you know.
He tells you. You shake your head and go to the rack to return your training sword. They're blunt for safety and the well-being of your crew. You're acting like it's vacillation again. It's not, you grumble, and put your sword back. You look around for his to return that too.
So tell me what it is like. You said it's all things, but you can't loathe the idea of ever seeing me hurt because you feel something pale for me and want to attack me with a sword at the same time.
Solix argues. Don't tell me what I can't do, you snap, picking up his abandoned sword. I can think that you're a smug motherfucker. I can want to take you down a peg. I can also at the same time feel sick about how vulnerable you'd be without your psionics. I can feel admiration at how strong they make you and want to beat you to show you not to underestimate people so you never get hurt like this. I can do all that at once. I do all of that all of the time about everything, you say angrily and slam his sword back on the rack. You turn to glare at Solix for presuming, but he just looks thoughtful. What? You snap.
Calm your rumble spheres, I'm thinking,
He says. I thought it was an unfamiliar expression, you retort, and he casually flips you off in return.
I think I could feel most of that. All of it individually, but a fair few chunks of that simultaneously. I could consciously flip between gonna kick your ass and I worry for how weak you are in this one area. I couldn't do both at once.
Solix says slowly. Yes, I know I'm a freak. Thanks for the reminder, you hiss.
But
He says loudly over you.
I could do both. I can feel both, for you specifically. I'm not the same as you, but that doesn't mean I can't work with it. That doesn't mean I'd hate you feeling all that for me.
What are you talking about? You ask. It's a stupid question. It's obvious what he's saying. He's saying he means that he knows about your abnormalities and is saying that he still wants this anyway. You're not stupid. That's the thing he's saying. Yet it can't be true. You're not sure how that's possible when Solix is very plainly saying this, but your think sponge is just going, nope, not real, about it. Solix sighs in a long-suffering way and gets up.
Ah! Hey, bud, that did something real fucky-wucky.
Oh boy, what happened?
It zoned out for a second and then came back real loud.
Oh no. We're having real Discord problems today.
Yeah.
We
Do you
should
mind if
probably end our call during our break or end our call right now to see if we can fix that.
Okay. I think it's about time for the break anyway, and I wanted to run to the bathroom.
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
Rad. Yeah, I don't know why Discord keeps doing a fucky wucky.
It's doing a fucky wucky for sure. All right, I'll get music and stuff up and back.
Okie dokie. So I'll be back at 8:30.
Sounds like a plan. See you soon.
All right. Talk to you in a little bit.
And this time, I actually did get a little bit of music for us to have during the break, so y'all can hopefully enjoy that. We'll see if I can get it audible here. Too soft? There we go, that's music. At least one guitar strum. Wonderful, okay? We'll be back in 15.
Hello, hello. We are returned.
We are returned. Good break.
Yeah, hopefully Discord stops being a dick.
Yep. Sometimes, like, restarting a call is all you can do, and with a 15-minute break, we can hope.
Yeah. Discord, just have you tried turning it off and turning it back on?
Welcome to the future of technology. It's still this.
Yup, pretty much.
Wonderful.
Alright. We ready to get started again?
Yes, let me just get the music out of here. Thank you, music. Die.
Oh, yeah. Did you just say thank you, music, die?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
I like how one of the people that I'm voicing is just miscellaneous pirate.
Yep. They don't get names, they're crowd people. They do crowd things.
Alright. I see I see an alarm going off. I hear an alarm going off. Alright. Ready for me to start then?
Ready.
Rad. Sullik sighs in a long-suffering way and gets up. I want to try being more than friends, Karkat. If you want to stop being weird about it and talk, then do that. And if you change your mind about me or want me to back off, then just say, he says simply. Sullix looks down at you, and you're very aware that you're not wearing a shirt. He flashes you a pleased little smile and then leaves. Well, that happened. And how can he... Why would... You don't understand. You're in such a daze afterwards that it doesn't even occur to you to ask Kanaya if she had a hand in bringing you two together again. Though you're pretty sure she did, and you forgot to punch Terezi when you see her too. You're just lost. It's all you can do to stop yourself going up to Sullix over and over and asking him, really? Oh, wait, sorry.
Oh,
That's yours.
that's mine. I also skipped right over that in the brain. um, just lost puppy dog. Just like, oh, I'm just like, really? Really? Something like that.
Over and over. You're distracted. It's hard not to be. Sullix acts every bit as close to you as he used to, including pirating shit that you want to watch, but sometimes he sticks around to watch it with you. That's not that unusual for how you used to be, but you're hyper conscious of how he is around you. You can tell when he's watching you, thinking about things between you. You'll react to something he said in a certain way, and it's as if you can see all the gears whirring in his head as he starts to piece together how you work. It feels scrutinizing and vulnerable, and you're not fully comfortable with it. Why do you do that sometimes? Sullix asks one day. His feet are against your leg, and he's leaning his back on the arm of your lounge plank. You're meant to be watching your show, but you've just been staring blankly at it and sweating bullets since Sullix said something that you're reasonably sure was flirting.
What?
You ask croakily. You're fine, and then I get anything close to suggestive, and you sit there like you're waiting for me to snap your neck. Sullix sighs.
Because
You hesitate.
there's a catch somewhere, and I don't know what it is.
I'm not trying to trick you, Sullix points out patiently, like you're stupid for thinking it.
I mean, not you. I don't think you're playing me. The universe might be. The last time I ruined our friendship for sweeps. I don't understand why you'd even want this anyway. Want me. I'm complicated and probably unworkable. Definitely unworkable. You could have anyone you wanted. I know you have a thing for doing things on hard mode, and picking me is for sure that, but.
You cut yourself off with a frustrated noise. Several things. Sullick starts, and you groan. 1. The last time we kissed, nothing terrible happened. I could do it again to prove it if you want. You forget how to breathe for a moment there, and Sullick flashes his fangs at you with that smile, but he keeps talking. 2. I don't know where you get the idea that I could get anyone I wanted. You're the famous pirate captain, notorious rebel leader, freer of hundreds of thousands of people. That, and I feel like you should tell me when you're going to work out so I can watch. You could get anyone you wanted, but I'm cool if it's just me. More than cool, he says with a smile that is almost a little territorial, and the thought of that sends a thrill through you that you're not sure you care to examine. He gets up on his knees and leans over to you. You just stare up at him. There's no cosmic force coming to punish you for wanting something, and I'm not going to kick you for it either, he says.
I know that. I mean, I don't think some deity is coming to personally smite me, and if they showed up, I have a laundry list of grievances and a willingness to fight.
You hiss. Sullick laughs at that.
And if you wanted to hurt me back out of revenge, you could have done it way before now, and I don't think you're like that. You staying away was what you do. Maybe blowing up my machines, but cutting me out is more like you. Long-winded, elaborate revenge plots that require you kissing me and making up feelings? No. Even if you were trying to get revenge, this wouldn't be how.
You say confidently. Sullick looks like he has opinions on that, but he's holding them for now.
I just can't shake the feeling that I'm wrong. I mean, I know I am wrong. I'm mutated and...
You start, but now he does talk. Yeah, I don't get that. People have got in your face about you being a mutant before, about your blood being wrong, and I've seen you rip the shit out of them and then kick at their asses. You don't give a fuck about your blood anymore. So why this?
My blood is just a color. See?
Have I been narrator and I forgot about it?
Oh, just from the Solix asks, I assumed the Discord cut out, so I just kept talking.
Okay, I couldn't remember that if I was being narrator. Was I being narrator and I just forgot?
You were just doing it for so long. Your brain was like, "Yep, I'm done now." Do you want to trade for a short
I'm
or are you...
sorry.
You're good.
I can keep reading. I just straight up forgot I was being the narrator.
That is very funny to me. Sorry.
In my defense, I have ADHD and brain damage.
This is a defense. The court approves. Gavel, gavel.
Okay, you already said your blood is just a color.
Yeah.
You say like that hadn't taken you sweeps and sweeps to shed the insecurities and hate for that. Your feelings are just feelings, Sullick counters.
My blood is wrong because the Empress says it is. My feelings are actually incompatible with other people.
You counter. I don't think they're incompatible with me. Remember me prepositioning you? Sullick points out.
Yes, but...
well, yeah. Sullick's okay. Sullick's prompts.
It happens.
I know the part that you want me to read is coming up soon. Can you narrate her for just a bit and then I'll hop back in?
Absolutely.
404 error. Satan stopped working.
Have you tried turning Satan back on and off again?
Have you tried turning it on and turning it off?
Okay, focusing. This is a deep fear thing for Karkat. You say that I'm not broken or wrong or anything, and that you're willing to try something with me, but what if it really doesn't work, and then we both know for sure that I actually am incompatible? You ask.
What if we are compatible and we spend our entire lives wishing for this and not having it?
Solix counter proposes. The thought hits you like a sucker punch to the gut. He leans back from you and sits in your lap, all long legs and sudden unease. He looks away, the glow of his eyes dimming as he narrows them slightly.
I'm not trying to force your hand here. If you really don't want to be with me, then I don't want to just keep bothering you about it until you give in. I just don't want to miss the chance for, I don't know.
Solix sighs. No, that's not it. Me wanting you isn't the problem. I've told you that before. You insist and catch your hand in his shirt. That makes him look at you again.
Do you want me to back off?
He asks. It's plain and simple, binary answer. Do you want him to back off because you're scared to lose him as a friend now that you've just got him back? Do you want him to back off because the idea of what actually not being able to make it work would say about you makes you feel terrified? Or do you not want him to back off? Do you want him to keep showing you how interested he is by doing this and actually get through your defenses? You want him, obviously you do, but even just admitting to him that you want him to keep going is terrifying. But isn't he scared too? You ripped out his blood pusher before. You've rejected him twice when he's put himself out there, and yet here he is again. So yeah, you're scared, but maybe that shouldn't matter. Maybe you should just do what you want to do. I'm terrified of this, you admit, and Solix looks hurt. Not for himself, but for you. It's a look of overwhelming pity. But please don't back off. Please, you say softly. Solix's expression brightens as he lays cautious hands on your chest. You're suddenly very conscious of how he's sat in your lap.
If you want to do this, we don't have to rush anything. And I still need to figure out how we can work around quadrants not being a thing. That'll take time on its own. We can figure it out together.
Solix offers, and it's so sweet that you just can't help but nod along with him. And fuck, he looks so happy when you do. He's gone so far for you, though you've no idea why. You want this, he wants this, so. With him still in your lap, you lean in towards him. You're close enough to feel his breath hitch. You carefully, like it might shatter you both, kiss him. Considering all that you two have done with each other before, this kiss is pretty chaste.
It's a good kiss for all that it advances like a careful siege or a game of chess. You launched the opening move by starting the kiss. His response beyond simply kissing you back is to lean his body against you more and to cling to your shirt. The next move falls to you, a tactical advance of biting his lip, but you are unprepared for how much his vocal appreciation of that would weaken you. Sullix skips your next move, cutting you off with a devastating attack of sliding his hand around the back of your neck so he can hold you close. It's so red, so demanding of trust from you. You want to give it to him, but the worry that you don't get nice things becomes too strong to ignore, and you have to pull back. Sullix wins this one.
Sorry, you murmur quietly.
You murmur. Oh.
I wasn't sure if you wanted me to keep
I can do
going.
narrator again for a little bit.
Sweet.
Oh no, I can be narrator for a little bit.
Wonderful.
All right. No, don't. It's thanks. Selig says in a jumble of mismatched words. You stare at him for a second and then laugh loudly, right in his face, which might be a little mean, but you can't help it.
Thanks? Someone kisses you and you say thanks.
You snicker. Maybe I just... I can't not laugh at that. Thank you for the kisses, my liege.
Yes. My compliments to the chef.
Compliments to the chef. 10 out of 10. Best kiss I've had this week. Sorry.
You're good.
Me. I know how to read.
The words is tricksy sometimes. They move around.
Words? What are words?
Yeah.
Never heard of them. Maybe I just have manners. Anyway, how do you know that's not how it's supposed to go? It's not like you kissed anyone else, is it? Solix asks pointedly, but there's a waver of doubt on his face that you know means he hopes that your answer is no.
You have a point there. You would know better than me. You are my literal only experience here. I guess all those thousands of movies and books I consumed on romance when I was desperately trying to fit in just missed that part.
You say innocently. Was that really why you read that stuff? Solix asks you quietly.
And why I stopped reading it. I couldn't stand the reminder of not being that way. Did you think I was reading a book about solar panels when I was at Equius because I was deeply interested in it or something? It was that or Nepeta's romance books.
You snort. When will your solar panel knowledge come in handy? Probably never. Solix's hands grip your shirt tightly, and he takes in a deep breath, staring at you the whole time without blinking. I have to kiss you now because that is the most pitiable thing I've ever heard. Holy shit, Carcat, Solix says. He does. Kiss you, that is. It's desperate and awesome, and not the last time he does it either. It's enough of a yes to this whole thing between you that it's sort of unspoken that things can progress, even if they progress slowly. You figure that staying in the red is safest. Safest? Wow, Satan, that's how words work.
Words.
Can I finish out this thing and then you swap in?
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm doing my best.
We all
You
are,
figure
Yoder.
that staying... Yeah, Your Honor, I'm trying my hardest. You figure that staying in the red is safest. That's what he wants, and it's certainly a thing that you want.
It's just not the only thing. You have other stresses in your life beyond your thing with Solix. Your thing with Solix is secret, in that you haven't told anyone, and as far as you know, neither has he. But from the way that your crew watch you both, and the looks you see them pass each other, you doubt it's secret at all. Or at least that something is going on between you and Solix isn't secret. You're sure that the speculation is rife. You refuse to dignify such speculation with an answer. Like you've said, you have other problems. Problems like dead rebels. Yeah, how about that for a mood killer, huh? It's hard to think about your romantic entanglements when you're dealing with a job gone wrong for your fellow rebels. At least that's what you can assume from where you stand on the bridge, looking over their blown-out ship. Imperial ship approximately 4 hours away. We can catch them in 3 if we floor it, Nepeta advises you. That's the Corinthian. They were running missions for Kanaya, right? They must have had intel on them. Solix, can you tell from here if that information's been accessed? You ask, looking over at him. He's already working. He must have started before you asked.
It's completely fried. I could maybe tell you from within there, but not out here. Their ship's blown open. There's no breather in there, so all their biotech is going to be dead. I'd be dealing with the manual stuff.
He answers you. Take a team, 10 people. Suit up, get over there. I want you to find out what you can from their system, and the rest of you be searching the ship to see what happened and recover the dead. It might have just been a lucky shot with no data stolen, but if they know something, we need to know. We'll search around for anyone who got thrown out, or any tech that got ejected. You have 20 minutes, you order him.
Captain?
Solix nods and stands up. He quickly and efficiently picks a team, including Nepeta, and they rush over. Meanwhile, you contact Kanaya and Terezi both, warn them that shit may be compromised. Kanaya has to call in backup to reroute the rescue operations for mutant or otherwise abnormal grubs that she was running. Who knows how big an impact this will have on Kanaya's mission to alter the balance of the hemospectrum. To alter the balance of the hemospectrum will be what with her... Oh. Who knows how big an impact this will have on Kanaya's mission to alter the balance of the hemospectrum will be what with her vital co-conspirators having to flee. It's possible no one knows, but it's just too big of a risk. You can get her in touch with people who can make fake identities and resettle those jades in new colonies and start again. You can't so easily build up a network again. Better a false alarm than to lose everything. Your crew pick up a few unfortunate trolls launched into space, and by the time they're done with that, Solix's time is up. Nepeta contacts you first.
Carcat, we have a problem. I found the captain of the Corinthian, or most of him. He's been decapitated. There's footprints and blood leaving the ship. This wasn't an accident. They were boarded.
Nepeta tells you gravely. Shit, you hiss. Rough Cub was the captain of the Corinthian. He was a good man. You've been at so many meetings with him, had dinner and laughed with him. You weren't exactly friends, but it sucks to hear that he's dead. You know a bunch of his crew, too. Most of them by name, and pretty much all of them by sight. They didn't deserve this.
It gets worse. Someone broke my encryption and erased everything.
Solix says over the speaker.
What? You said that was unhackable.
You gasp. If they know everything, this is bad. This is so bad.
Yes and no. Someone can brute force their way in, but you have to know a whole bunch of shit that you can't just guess. Even doing that will automatically encrypt everything in a whole new way that'll take forever to break. Whoever got in hasn't got anything useful yet, but they shouldn't have been able to.
Solix says.
And you can tell that it's been locked, even though it's been erased, you ask.
Yeah, I can tell the system encrypted itself, and someone's just copied across everything and tried to wipe it afterwards. But the encryption process causes... Yes, I can tell. They got in when they shouldn't have been able to and took everything. If this makes its way back into the hands of the Empire, they can definitely put enough time and minds on it that I can't promise it'll withstand.
Solix warns you. If they'd tortured the crew, then it wouldn't have encrypted. A member of the crew would have been authorized. So this was someone who knew your systems, but didn't have full clearance, seemingly with good reason.
Someone betrayed us, you whisper.
It looks like it.
Solix agrees. You rub your hands over your face and try to think. The rest of your crew is watching you anxiously. You need to do something. All of you come back. Bring the dead. Nepeta, take pictures of where Rough Cub was killed. Take pictures of anything Terezi could use, but be quick. 5 minutes, you order, and close the line. Chart a course to follow the Imperial ship at a safe distance. Disguise our presence and tell me exactly where they look to be going. Tavros, I need you to go get your bugs, and I need you to get ready to use a lot of psionics, you order. Tavros snaps to attention and rushes off under your command. Everyone else leaps to action, predicting courses and discussing theories about the destination of the other ship. No one questions your orders. The rest of the crew returns back, and the ship kicks into high gear to follow. When you get closer, you can tell that the ship you're chasing is the Ice Start, a decent-sized vessel, bigger than yours, but not as maneuverable. It focuses mainly on firepower, but even it is not immune to everything. You do not attack them right away. You stalk them towards the Imperial station that they're going to. It would, of course, be desperately stupid to steer a pirate ship there. Good thing, then, that your ship is, by design, easily disguisable as a rush delivery Imperial ship. This is not the first time that your crew has pulled a stunt like this, but none of you like to push your luck, and this is really fucking risky. 2 of your crew offload a crate onto the station in the back entrance, dropping a signal repeater that'll allow Solix to hack their system to spoof records that say you should be there, but create enough administrative chaos to delay you until your mission is complete. Your 2 Rust crew members, in worn Imperial uniforms, armed with clipboards and the ability to repeatedly argue around the same point and waste time, are your front line. You need them to be annoying, persistent, and distracting enough that no one will notice that the crate is just filled with random office supplies and other shit lying about your ship and, about 20 fruit flies. You sit and wait, listening to a quiet feed of your 2 crew members insisting on seeing a permit signed before them, and then one of them running it inside to see the boss and wasting more time. To your right, Tavros is limp in a tipped-backed chair next to you, his eyes staring but not seeing the room before him. Instead, he is literally bugging the crew. Solix pulled the manifest of the Istart, and Tavros is tracking down and listening in to conversations of the likeliest candidates. You just have to wait and hope you'll get lucky. Someone betrayed you, betrayed the rebellion, and now good people are dead and still more are at risk. Tavros lifts a hand like he's got something, just not enough yet. You all tensely wait as your crew below continues to waste time, insisting that, as well as dropping off this crate, they were also meant to pick one up. No, not that one. Maybe this one? Actually, could they see the first one again? Better ask the boss.
Bold luck.
Tavros.
Oh, that's not the right voice. Bold. Close enough. Why Tavros hard?
Tavros, so he has, when characters have like longer lines, it's easier, I've found. When I just have to say something like, what? I stutter throughout the whole line.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to remember where I have Tavros. I think I have his voice in this range.
That sounds familiar.
Bold luck. There we go. Closest this is getting.
Excellent. Tavros says, blinking and sitting up.
Bold luck betrayed us.
He nods. You gesture to another crew member, and they send the signal to finish up to your crew below. Bold luck, you repeat. Want to switch narrator?
Yeah, of course. Bold luck is a pirate, not one you've ever liked much. Every time you see him, he tries to fight you, and he wounded one of your crew once in an attempt to goad you into it. You've suspected before that he secretly harbors pitch feelings for you. You never return those feelings, even if you weren't something to Celix now. You don't trust Bold Luck enough to be pitch for him. He's a scummy olive pirate who isn't a member of the rebellion, but cares enough about money to sometimes help out. For a fee. You don't trust a man whose loyalty has a price, but sometimes needs must. He has no access to your systems, but he's been granted temporary passes before that expire right after he is no longer needed. Exactly the kind of knowledge that fits the bill. You contact Terezi and tell her that you have a plan, that you'll contact her later to get the rest of it arranged, but Friska really ought to make sure she isn't busy. When the Istart leaves the station, so do you. You trail them for a while and watch as when you're out of easy rescue range, you give your command with no joy or malice in your blood for it.
Solix.
You say softly. He looks at you, awaiting whatever you have to say.
I need you to grab hold of their computer system from here. The biggest part, whatever you can get. I want you to rip it out and bring it back to us as unharmed as you can. Can you do that?
You ask him. That won't solve the problem of them having the data, Celix says slowly.
I know.
You say, your eyes set on the image of the ship on the screen. Ripping it out will kill everyone on board, Equius tells you, like you haven't just experienced what happens to a spaceship with a giant hole in the side.
I know. I didn't ask for this information. I asked Solix if he could do it. Can you?
You say sharply and look back at Solix. I can, Solix says slowly.
Captor, remove their computer system as unharmed as you can and bring it here. That's an order.
You tell him. Your crew are staring at you. Returning fire in a fight is nothing new for you. Defending others is nothing new. But coldly setting out a first attack to destroy an entire ship is new. You'd bet that Equius set up weapons to take that ship out if it came to it, but certainly he prepared more to render it powerless so you could get out of this bloodlessly. Solix does not question your order. He does not disobey you. You watch as the side of the ship explodes and a machine floats towards your ship. It's tempting to look away, but you did this. You need to watch. You hope that everyone aboard that ship lived lives of pure malevolent evil, hurting the innocent, and that they had no emotional ties to anyone else. It won't be the case, though. Some people on that ship will have been all right, just doing what they were told. Most of them were probably all right if you knew them. They probably had interests like baking or cross-stitch. They had friends and quadrants. You believe there is good in everyone, and that belief is thorny and painful now. You didn't do a good thing here today, but doing nothing would be worse. There is good in everyone, but there is bad too. You're a good person. At least you like to think you are, and you try to do the right thing. As surely as there must be some good within the soul of the Empress, some part of her that, were the situation drastically different, you could like or even befriend, it holds true that within yours is something dark. You killed people today, and to make it worse, you aren't done yet.
Bring the computer aboard. Put it in the hold. Send a message to Terezi to get her ass on Vriska's ship and tell Vriska to wait for me to tell her where to be. Set a course for the Outlands.
You order the bridge at large and march off out of the room. Gargat! That's Solix. You keep heading to your block, your coat whipping behind you as you stride quickly. Carcat, what was that? What? Talk to me, he says loudly, catching up to you.
I need to be on my own.
You say tightly. You need to be in your block at least, Solix concedes as you open the door by slamming your fist on the controls. He slips in after you.
Solix.
What was that? What are you doing? You've never asked me to do something like that before, he says, talking over you.
I'm sorry. I don't like making you do things like that. If I'd had any other option, I wouldn't have.
You apologize, and you can hardly look at him. Obviously, I wasn't thinking about that. I'm worried about you, Solix says, and you jump when his hand touches your face. We could talk about it, he offers. Behind Solix, you can see your things arranging themselves into a shape that looks suspiciously pile-shaped.
You don't have to do that. I'm not dangerous. I'm not going to turn on you or the crew. You don't need to talk me down like this is an emergency.
You tell him, but he's already gently leading you that way as he walks backwards. Your words actually make him laugh and shake his head. I don't think I'd be... Whoa. I don't think I'd be able to think... Oh, okay. I don't know how to read. I don't think I'd be able to think an idea like that up about you, even if I had a million sweets. I didn't even think that fit when I hated you. Solix laughs and falls backwards on the pile. He's smiling, and he just killed people. You made him do it. We can jam. You look like you need it. Solix offers you again.
You Don't feel pale for me, though. You're red for me.
You say weakly. How about you don't tell me how I pity you, and instead you get down here? He replies a little sharply. You're weak at the end of the day, and for Sullix you always have been. You've always thought you were too soft to be a troll. A real one, at least. You came out wrong. It should be no surprise that you do fall into the pile with him. Nor should it be of any revelation to anyone that you cry. You cry for the people you had him kill, who could have been turned from the Empire and done good, but now have no choice to. You cry for the rebels who were betrayed by someone you knew wasn't worth your full trust, and yet he was allowed to still be near your fellow rebels. They were just trolls trying to make the universe a better place. They didn't deserve that. You cry for the captain who you never got as close to as he deserved. He was a good man, and now he's dead. You rip out all your feelings and failings and drop them into Sullix's hands, and you confess that you would do it again and what you plan to do now. You confess that you know he doesn't pity you this way and that he's just trying to help. Sullix tells you that you're stupid if you really believe that, but he pities you anyway. He doesn't specify just how he pities you. By the time the ship arrives at the Outlands, you are whole again, put back together like a pane of shattered glass under Sullix's careful attention. Maybe it's a blessing that you don't have the time to overthink this development for you both. The Outlands are not so much a space station as they are a pattern of wildly changing station segments that changes as people come and go. The place is a winding maze where a troll of the right mindset and the right cash flow can buy almost anything. It presents itself as the pirate capital, wild and lawless, and it's been known to change its location several times. The thing is that anarchy is one of those things that sound cool and sexy, but is, in practice, wildly impractical. There is a code within the Outlands, and though the details of it vary, there are a few key points that everyone knows, and they are brutally enforced. No killing within the Outlands. If you can make it onto the place, you are safe. No slaves or slave trading. Pirates live and die for their freedom, so they won't anyone else are taken seriously. If you find Boldluck here, you cannot kill him, but that's fine. You hope that you don't. The key thing is that there are other rules that are not written down anywhere, and some hold them differently than others. For example, an unofficial third rule would be 3. It's us against them, meaning pirates against the Empire. Selling out other pirates is not a violation of the code of the Outlands, but is something people take a dim view on. If a pirate will sell someone else out, who's to say they won't sell you out? A traitor is a traitor, and people rarely betray others just the once. If there was a third official rule, it'd be that. But what does such a rule ask of you? Not selling people out is clear enough, but are you obligated to help fellow pirates in distress against the Empire? Are you obligated to fight them? You say yes, others say no. But the reception you expect is just what you get when you walk into the most heavily packed bar in the Outlands and start shouting. You tell everyone just who you are. You tell them you're a pirate, that you're with the rebellion. You probably don't need to. You know most of the people in here, and most of them either owe you a favor now or have before. So when you tell them what Boldluck did, that he betrayed your people and risked the lives of many more, you know that your words carry weight here.
I want to know where that traitor is.
You snarl.
What are you gonna do when you catch him?
A woman shouts at you.
I think we all know I'm not very good at revenge.
You admit. There's laughter across the room. You were once accused of being the nicest intergalactic pirate and rebel the universe has ever seen. When you were younger, people were put off by how abrasive you can be, but pirates just find it funny and are just a shitty back because it's funny, which means that you have no cover for your baser nature of generally just trying to help everyone get along and make things not suck for everyone. People like you. It's baffling, really.
But
You continue slowly.
the Empire takes a dim view on traitors, too.
Fresca Circuit, while not a pirate at all, is often seen in the Outlands. You meet her here often enough. Everyone knows that you're friends. She's a notorious pirate hunter, and she's caught loads of them, but mysteriously, they always get free and escape at the last moment, and almost always, it's the fault of people who aren't Frisca. She doesn't want to end pirates. She likes pirates. She wants to hunt and chase them for fun, and she's grown out of breaking her toys. It's a running joke that she'll show up here for a good time and never do anything about all the pirates here at all. She's basically an honorary one. Everyone knows that from the Empire's point of view, Frisca's as bent as they get, and even people who don't know about Terezi's role in the rebellion suspect her by proxy. From the faces of the pirates around you, it's obvious that the idea of being caught for real by Frisca and actually subjected to the Empire's supposed mercy is a sobering thought. You're not creative at vengeance, but the Empire absolutely is. Bold Luck fucking robbed me once, someone says irritably.
He tipped off a ship I'd been scoping out and pocketed the reward for it.
Another adds. Buoyed by the agreement of others, story after story about Bold Luck's dishonesty and generally shitty behavior comes rolling out. Less than half an hour after you walked into the Outlands, you're leaving with his last known coordinates and destination on a piece of paper, and your wallet a little lighter for the fee of jogging someone's memory.
Narrator train?
Your source had it... Oh, yeah, sure.
Your source had it very quietly suggested to them by several other pirates that their tip had better be legit, or else they'd find out just how much you can hurt someone without breaking Outland rules. It was the general consensus of those people that you can't lie to Carcat Vantis. He's nice. And remember how he helped your Moirail out with her ship when it had that failure? And so on and so on. You leave your dead rebels at the Outlands with messages to the rebellion as to where they are, in case their friends or quadrants want to say goodbye. The crew has their orders, follow the directions, find Bold Luck's ship, disable its propulsion, and capture its crew. The task is undertaken with utmost seriousness. Your tip was good. Bold Luck is right where your informant said he'd be, which is good for you. You board the ship, fight and restrain several crew members yourself, and stand there waiting as Bold Luck is brought to you by Equius. His hands are tied behind his back, and Equius forces the man to his knees in front of you. When Equius forces someone to their knees, they damn well know about it.
What is this
Traitor, you accuse him. Bold Luck's eyes widen, and a sly smile spreads across his face.
Are you pissed off, are you? What happened to make you so mad, Carcat?
He grins.
We are not on first-name terms, Bold Luck. You betrayed the rebellion.
Whoa, that was rough sounding.
You betrayed the rebellion. A whole ship of innocent people are dead because of you.
You snap at him.
A wild accusation. You know, if you wanted me on my knees, you only had to ask.
Bold Luck grins, cocky and overconfident. Several of his crew, who are tied up in the room, laugh. A deep and very angry growl resonates from the area that Solix is currently standing, and the room starts to get that static angry psionic in a confined space feel to it.
We heard it from the mouth of the captain of the Ice Dart, the one you sold us out to,
you say simply. That wipes the smile off of Bold Luck's face.
So, what, like you can't handle that? Unless I've overestimated you,
he says, but his tone isn't as steady now.
I hate traitors, and I can't let you put people at risk, and as much as I want revenge, I don't think there's anything I could possibly do that would make up for what you did. I'm just not that creative,
you say, crouching down so that you're eye to eye with him. But Chief Justice Pyrope, Terezi, she's awfully good when it comes to real justice. The people she works with are creative at the kind of horrible evil that I couldn't come up with in 100 sweeps. She's on her way here now, on the Anasi. Vriska Circuit's tracking your ass down right now. It helps that I told her where to come. You shrug.
Now who's betraying the rebellion? You're working for the Empire. That shit pirate hunter is one thing, but...
Boldluck accuses you. He was never close enough into the rebellion's work to know about Terezi.
He doesn't work for them. They work for him.
Nepeta corrects Boldluck coldly. That's not accurate. You're all in the rebellion together. It's not like you're leading it, but you won't correct her here.
Yeah, see, the thing about Vriska is that she loves games. Pirate hunting, it's a game. She chases me sometimes for fun too, putting up appearances and all. Everyone knows that when she's after you, that you'll have to put everything into evading her, and maybe she'll catch you, but you'll probably escape. It's like those Saturday morning cartoons. It's a game. Everyone knows that. People talk. You nod. Do you know why people don't know what she's like when she's not playing games?
You ask softly. Boldluck stares at you. It seems he has no guess.
No one is around after to talk about it. But maybe you're thinking that you could get around this, even if Terezi and Vriska are on my side. There are other justices that you have information to trade, right? Except even they take a dim view of traitors and liars, people who double-cross. If a pirate in your position was to insist to an Imperial ship that they could get intel from a rebel ship, and then that pirate ship was to destroy that ship to cover up that the intel was bad, and try to pass it off as an accident or a rebel attack, that'd be really bad. They'd ignore everything you had to say in your defense. Any information would be written off as false, or worse yet, a trap.
You tell him.
But I didn't do that. You can't just make shit up.
Boldluck snarls at you. Equius squeezes his shoulder ever so slightly. You think you hear his bones groan.
That's good. Very convincing.
Say it like that when Terezi asks about the computer from the ice dart that's in your hold. You smile, even though you don't feel happy. You raise your palm husk up and speak.
Hey, Nep, what's the status?
You ask her.
Computer planted and Solix's lock is in place. No one's getting in here until Risker's ship comes close.
Nepeta says with cheer.
Thanks,
you tell her.
I really didn't want to do this, but if the Empire gets that information, which they may already have, because if I was on the ice dart, I would have made a backup somewhere or sent something, then so many people will die. So many people will suffer because we can't help them. People who are trying to fix things will die horrible and terrible deaths. But it looks like this is a situation where no matter what, either they will or you will, and I have to choose. So that's how it is. For what it's worth, this doesn't make me happy, and for your sake, I hope they don't give you what you deserve, but they probably will.
You sigh. You don't bid him goodbye or untie him. You have enough time to get away from the ship before Vriska and Terezi arrive, and they'll probably get free in that time, but they can't destroy the evidence you planted or move the ship. Boldluck's trial and grisly execution are broadcast live across the Empire. You really feel that you ought to watch since you were responsible. You should stare the consequences of your actions down. Mysteriously, the ship happens to be near some celestial phenomena that interrupt that signal when it goes out, and for some reason, the crew can't seem to get the ship working to move it. Equius sweats profusely when you ask him about it. You also can't download the feed later, to which the rest of the crew say how mysterious that is, and it's probably not worth thinking or watching about anyways, is it, Captain? Are you blocking my digital feed? You ask Solix, walking into his block without knocking.
Yes,
Solix says without looking up. Unblock it, you tell him.
I have already for almost everything,
he says.
You're blocking anything to do with Boldluck,
you say, and he nods.
I should be able to watch what happened to him. I'm responsible for it. I have to face what I did, or else who am I?
You tell him. Solix finishes typing with a loud snap of the return key and swivels to face you.
You're Karkat Vantis. That's who you are. If you watch it or if you don't. You did what you had to so that Friska and Terezi could discredit and end him. You saved hundreds of thousands of lives. Again, it wasn't nice, but it was the right choice. And if you watch it, you're going to agonize about it and hate yourself because you are Karkat Vantis and that's what you do.
Solix says pointedly.
So you're, what, protecting me from myself? Acting pale? I'll give you that the pile was maybe an emergency before, but you don't have to...
You're cut short by your tongue sticking itself to the roof of your mouth with a fizzing sensation that speaks of psionics.
Before you accuse me of lying or putting myself through something that I hate, let me clear this up because I've been experimenting with this whole quadrant thing.
Solix says as he gets to his feet. You protest.
I don't think like you do, I don't think. I'm still red most of all, but I can easily blur that out. I do pity you, and pity is shared in pale romance. It's just not totally the same. I can't always think of you like that, but sometimes when you're hurt and pitiful, it seems like I can without any problem. It's a little weird sometimes.
Solix admits.
See? You knew this wouldn't work.
Don't look like that.
Solix snaps at you and shoves you in the shoulder.
I still want to be whatever color you want me in. Sometimes I'm 100% there with you, but maybe not always. But if I offer something to you, then it's because I want to. You're not making me, and I'm not faking it to humor you. If I don't want to or can't, I'll say.
He tells you. Your tongue is still held in place.
But for what it's worth, I felt pale for you last time, and protecting you from this is something I would have done even when we were just friends.
He says with an easy shrug, and he lets you go. For all that he's not holding you mute now, you don't have words.
I won't keep blocking it, but just don't watch it, okay? Please?
Solix says, and you know he'll stick to his word and let you if you want. Solix doesn't strike you as the type to try to hyper-control your life. You will have to watch it, though. If you can, you'll drive yourself crazy until you do, and then Solix is right, because you will loathe yourself for whatever you see. You step forward and rest your head on his chest.
Can you keep it blocked?
You whisper.
Yeah.
He says, just as quietly, and strokes his hand through the back of your hair. This is nice. He cares, and it feels right. It feels good. It's what you need. You never thought you'd get it, but this is it. You don't understand why he's willing to do this, but you should thank any gods willing to listen for him doing so. End of part 3!
I love them so much.
I love them so much, Your Honor.
Listen. I'm sorry I kept having some tongue fucky-wucky, and I don't know what happened where I was just reading and all of a sudden brain short-circuited and it's like, narration? The fuck is that?
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him, Your Honor.
You're good. I had a thing
goodness.
today where I would stutter at the start of words a lot, where I only, like, Karkat would only have one word, and I'd go, what? Like, I just couldn't stop it.
All of a sudden starts
Yeah,
fucking
music kicks in.
beatboxing.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
my
words.
Moira fell asleep.
That's adorable.
Just say, no, I didn't. Well, you look very cute curled up like that. Oh, I didn't even get a I'm not cute rebuttal.
Not hyperbottle?
They're Adora bloodthirsty.
Cute.
I just got a quiet yes.
Quiet.